Welcome to Straight Reviews, where there's no bullshit beyond this sign. Well, folks, another on my not seen but must see list along with Man of Steel. This one is the Thing prequel. While anyone who's read my seer knows about my final thoughts on the matter, it wasn't until yesterday that I actually seen the movie. Much of my theories stem from other reviews I watched on the subject, along with various clips I've seen in trailers and others. Yesterday was the first and only time I've ever watched this movie from beginning to end. Now, like my seer, this review contains spoilers. For those who came on the front page, here's the skivvy. Based off the short story novel Who Goes There, the original Thing revolves around a group of remote outposts stationed in Antarctica. One of the outposts is the American Outpost 31. They get into an accidental firefight with Norway's Thule outpost after adopting a stray dog they were shooting at. It is then there, upon investigating what was left of the Thule, that they discover an alien creature capable of infecting, devouring, and transforming into any living creature that it comes into contact with. Paranoia ensues when the other members of the outpost try to figure out which one of them among them is human and which one of them is the Thing. The movie itself was a box office bomb, roughly due to it being released around the same time E.T. was released, and our images of aliens being friendly, whimsical creatures were not ready to take on the traumatic side of the coin, whilst the other part was accusing Ennio Morricone of ripping off Carpenter's music. Seriously? Ennio Morricone, the man who has time and again been doing movie scores long before the Howard Hawk version of this movie was in production. The guy who is pretty much a staple in spaghetti westerns, including many of Sergio Leone's classics like the Dollars trilogy. The guy whom the reason Carpenter hired to do the score in the first place is because he's a well-known fan of said westerns. People can be so stupid in the 80s. However, that said, it developed a cult following as soon as it was available on both network TV and home video, due to its special effects and overall paranoia-inducing story. It was considered one of John Carpenter's best movies, along with Halloween and Escape from New York. The prequel itself takes place 3 days before this movie, where it revolves around the Thule outpost and their events leading to the Carpenter flick. Said outpost asks American paleontologist Kate Lloyd, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, to assist them in a dig where they find the alien craft, along with a frozen body. However, eager to get samples, Thule's head, Dr. Sander Halverson, takes a drill to the frozen block they unearth, causing it to crack. This in turn lets the Thing out, where it proceeds to do what it does best: kill, imitate, and cause paranoia. So it's up to Kate to discover who's human and eradicate the Thing once and for all. Now, I call spoilers because if you guys already seen this movie, you know that doesn't end well. That said, after finally seeing the movie, what do I think? I think it's okay. Don't get me wrong, it's no Carpenter or Howard Hawks, but it's not as bad as people make it out to be. However, some faults can be countered. First and foremost is the Thing itself. In the Carpenter flick, the Thing was stealthy and only exposed itself when its tricks no longer worked. Here, on the other hand, even when it thinks it's safe, it has a tendency to pop out every second. However, I have a very simple explanation for that. It was throwing a hissy fit. As McCready stated once before, upon waking up, it wasn't in the best of moods. It didn't even attack the guy standing guard, as it was in a hurry to leave. And every other time it thought it was in danger of being exposed, it flips out and attacks in open areas. Which is an amazing change of pace, because, for once, rather than its victims being paranoid always, the Thing itself is also paranoid, so it's a level playing field. I guess you can say this whole movie was its anger management therapy. People seem to focus more on the weird than the pissed off. Second are the effects, and I couldn't agree more. The CGI was okay at best, but you can tell they wanted to use practical effects like the Carpenter flicks. However, certain scenes work, such as the origin of the now named split-face Thing. Personally, while I liked where they were going with this, I originally thought the split-face Thing was simply it getting caught mid-transformation from one person to another. I didn't expect two people to be violently fused to one another, and that still terrified me, because at the time, when I watched the original, I thought in order for it to infect you, it needed to go into a bloodstream. Then upon seeing what happened to Edvard and Adam, I realized once the Thing has even touched you, you're screwed. Third was the music. It was pretty generic and loud in comparison to Morricone's stuff was suspenseful. On the other hand, if you listen carefully, you'll hear renditions of Morricone's main theme. Said main theme can be heard in all its glory during the end credits scene. Last but not least was whether or not the movie itself was even necessary. During the Carpenter flick, much of the Norwegian-based scenes were often a show don't tell. We see what's left of it and we make up our own assumptions. However, while our own imagination and paranoia works for scenes like that, nothing is often what it seems. For example, we never expected any American assistance to Norway's outpost, yet we have 4 Americans on the outpost fighting the thing. This causes me to theorize something I never thought of in my seer. Outpost 31 is us, the audience. We never know what happened, and we're only seeing hints of it, but it doesn't mean we're completely blind to the genre savviness. And much of what even Mac theorizes could just be assumption, while Stuhl is themselves in the midst of it. Sometimes what we think happened isn't usually what actually happened. That said, The Thing is a very underrated prequel, and judging by its predecessor, it won't be a matter of time until it gets a following as well. Much like the titular creature, it is hated at first, but when we adapt to it, we end up liking it. In fact, one of you listeners could be one of those things. Oh, as usual, debate, argue, and let me know what I missed. Stay tuned for more. Say, could you hand me that flamethrower over there?